computer. All right, good. Before we begin this week, first of all, Shavua Tov, everybody, Shavua Tov. And today we're going to learn about God, like we learn every week. And we're going to learn from a book of Chabad, Hasidim, which is called Torah Or, one of the basic books. And it's going to comment on the beginning of this week's Torah reading, which is Parshas Vayetze. And the Parsha, it talks about how Yaakov is running away from his brother Esav, who's going to kill him, wants to kill him. And he's going to go to start the Jewish people. And he's leaving a place called Beersheba, and he's going to Haran. So let's just look at the words here. Here we have the Chumash. So let's look at the words because he's going to talk about some like the Kabbalistic aspects of this. So let's have a look. So Vayetze Yaakov mi Beersheba, the Yaakov left this place called Beersheba, which that's where he was living. It was a very good place, and it was for a lot of different reasons. And he went to a place called Harana, which is a terrible place. And that's where he's going to establish the Jewish people in this terrible place. Vayivga b'makom, and he reached this place. Which place is it? So it says that's where the Beis Hamikdash is going to be in another, whatever it is, 800 years, something, 900 years. Vayolan Sham, and he went to sleep there. It says he went to sleep there, and he didn't sleep for 14 years before. Didn't sleep. Kibo Hashemesh, because the sun was sinking. Vayikach me'avnei hamakom, and he took from the stones of the place. Vayasem mirash osav, and he made a wall around his head with the stones on his head, and it says to protect from the wild animals. Why did he put them only around his head? That's to be discussed. But let's just talk about what he did. Vayishka b'makom hahu, and he went, laid down in that place. Laid down. Vayachalom, and he had a dream. V'hinei sulam mutzav arza, there was a ladder on the ground. V'rosho migia shemayim, and the top of it went into the heavens. V'hinei malachei Elokim, and there were angels of God, olim v'yordim bo, going up and coming down. How could they go up first? They should have been coming down first. Another question. You got another question. We're just talking about what there was. The angels were going up and they were coming down. Now you have to remember who's writing this. This is God writing this. Who is God? Your creator. If you're alive right now and you're listening to this, then you are being created by God. And your computer is being created by God, and the world around you, and everything is being created by God. So let's take this a little bit more seriously than any other book in the library, which none of them claim to be written by God, right? Maybe they were dictated by God or something like that. At least the other religions claim. But here, this is a book written by God himself. So that really doesn't make any sense. But, could be. Jewish people have believed in it for a long time. So let's pretend it makes sense. Good. Vayachalom. He had a dream. There was a ladder standing on the ground. Its head reached up into the heavens, and there were angels going up and down. V'hinei Hashem, and God is standing over him. God's creating this whole business, and he's standing over him. What does it mean? God is standing over him, or God has feet or something? God is not. He's creating everything. What does it mean he's standing? Okay, another question. The Torah is filled with questions. And that's what God wants you to ask questions. It's a commandment to learn the Torah. Vayomer, and God said, Ani Hashem Elokei Avraham, I am the God of Abraham and the God of Yitzchak. The land that you are laying down on, I'm giving it to you and your offspring. And it says that, what does it mean, the land? That God folded up the whole land of Israel and put it under Yaakov's head. And your seed will be like the dirt of the earth. You'll spread out west and east and Saphona and north and south, and will be blessed by you, all of the families of the world, you and through your seed, through your offspring, through the Jewish people. Yaakov is going to get his name changed to Yisrael soon. So this is Bnei Yisrael. So you and the Jews are going to bless the whole world. That's the purpose of the Jews, is to bless the whole world. Now this is God speaking, so God's not going to change his mind. But this is an eternal promise that God is making to Yaakov and his sons that they're going to come to the land of Israel. They're giving them the land of Israel, and they're going to be a blessing for all of mankind. So if now they're not in the land of Israel, and now they're not so much of a blessing, but it's going to be, definitely will be, the Jews will come back to their senses. Okay, that's not the point. Here, wait. Hine, behold, Anochi imach, I'm with you, and I will protect you in everything that you do, and I will return you to this land, because Yaakov is leaving Israel. This is before he leaves Israel, right? He's going before he leaves Israel, so that's when he has this blessing. I will never leave you until I've done all of these things that I have promised. Okay, here, this is the part. Ready? Vayikatz Yaakov. This is what we're going to learn today. Yaakov woke up from his sleep, and he said, really, God was in this place, and I didn't know it. And he was very afraid, and he said, how awesome is this place? This is the place of the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. This is where the Holy Temple is going to be built. This is also the place where Abraham brought Yitzchak to sacrifice. Oh, here we go. Vayash came Yaakov b'boker. Yaakov woke up in the morning, and this is what we're going to learn now. It was all building up to this sentence. And he took the stone that he put under his head. Before he put a lot of stones, it says he put stones under his head. Right? The Avnei Makom, he took the stones and he put them under his head. And now he took the stone from under his head. So it said that really what happened was that the stones united to become one stone. What type of a miracle is that? We'll see. And he made them into a matzeva. He made it into like a pillar. And he poured oil on the top of it. Now, why the Torah tells us this? I mean, what did he do it for? Why is the Torah telling us? This is God telling us this. And because Hashem Makom Beit El, and he called the name of this place Beit El, but Luz was the name of the city first of all. And Yaakov made a vow saying, if God will be with me and he'll protect me in this way that I'm going, and he'll give me bread to eat and garments to wear, then I will I return back to my father's house, and God will be for me, for Elohim, for a power. Then this stone that I made will be a house for God. And everything that God gives me, I will give 1/10 of it. Okay, that's it. So Yaakov is leaving Israel. Before he gets out of Israel, there's these angels. I mean, he lays down to sleep, and there's these angels that are going up and down this ladder. This is a ladder with angels. And God makes this promise, I'm going to give you the land of Israel, and your children are going to be multiplied. And Yaakov wakes up, and this is the part where we're going to talk about now. Yaakov wakes up, and he says, well, this is a pretty awesome place. And he takes from the stone that he put under his head, which when he put them under his head, it was stones, and now it's one stone. And he pours oil on it. And he says, this is going to be a house of God. All right, now let's go. Now let's learn. V'shavti b'shalom el beit avi b'haya Hashem li Elokim ve'evan hazot asher samti matzeva yeh beit Elokim. I will return back to my father's house, and God will be for me for my power. That will be my power, Elokim. The Lord will be my God, or God will be my Lord. Ve'evan hazot, and this stone that I put under my head, Samti Matseva, and that I now made into a pillar, will be a house for God. Okay, that's what the Bible tells us. That's what the Torah tells us. This is what God is telling us. Does this make any sense? We'll see. But we have to understand. Well, and first, what does it mean to me and you? Nowadays, the Torah is supposed to be lessons in life. What type of life lessons are these? We'll see. Okay, just before we start this whole business, and start understanding this whole story, let me just take 1 minute to say something. We see in the news, all sorts of things are happening in the world. Everybody's yelling at everybody else, and everybody's angry, and then all of a sudden everything flips, and we see, wow, how bad the Arabs are, and all of a sudden how good they are, and how bad they are. And the Russia is the bad guys, and the Israel's the bad guys, and Israel's the good guys, and the America, they're the bad guys, and the United Nations, they're the bad guys. All of a sudden, it's not so clear what is good and bad, and do the Jews really have any claim to the land of Israel, and are they just liars and cheaters and and this? But one thing that's being left out of this whole business is God. Nobody talks about God. God is like too volatile a topic, but that's the whole topic. That's really the whole entire topic. Everything you're talking about, except for that, is how do you want to say, extraneous, huh? Extraneous. This person said that guy said this. They found now a letter from bin Laden. He's really a good guy. All of a sudden realizes he's a good guy, and the Jews are bad guys because they're joined with America, and America is against the Jews because everybody is, and they're letting these woke people talk on this. What anyway, the whole thing is very interesting for news, but the one topic that's being left out by everybody, including all the apologists for Israel and this, is God, especially the ones for Israel. I mean, the others, the missionaries and the Muslims, they're talking about God pretty regularly. Muslims maybe a little bit less. God. So the whole topic, really the main topic here is God. Who started, right? The whole thing is like little two children fighting. He started it, right? The Israelis, they started it, we started it. God started it. God started the whole business. God gave the land of Israel to the Jewish people. And it says right in the beginning of the Torah, first, look at the first Rashi, that this means trouble. This means trouble. The whole world is going to say, you Jewish people are thieves. And the Rebbe explains, what does it mean you're thieves? Every country in the world was conquered by somebody else. Says, no, the Jews and Israel is different because you can't conquer the land of Israel. It's permanently the possession of the Jews. Permanently. Makes no difference who lives there, doesn't live there. That is our claim to the land. God. And that's the whole big, how do you say, the weak point or the no point of Zionism. They wanted to totally leave God out of the whole business. Right? There's no, and so now we have these arguments in there. So we have the spokesman for Israel stand up, say God gave it to us. Say it. Come on, say it. Somebody say it. That's the best, strongest argument you could possibly. No, I'm not going to say it. Okay, so I'm not coming here to tell you how bad they are. I'm telling them that what is the way to fix this whole business up. And I'm not saying what I'm saying. I'm saying what the Lubavitcher Rebbe has said hundreds of times, thousands of times. The whole solution to all the world's problems is God. That's the solution to the world's problems. Despite what everybody said, no, that's the cause of religion, caused the whole thing. Whatever, doesn't make any difference what people say. The Jews are not going to go away. The Torah is not going to go away. God is not going to go away. The land of Israel is not going to go away. The commandments are not going to go away. Despite the efforts of the missionaries and the Muslims and the atheists and the wokists and the Babylonians and the Greeks and the Romans and all these other people that tried to go against, it's simply not going to go away. So why not talk about it? And that's what we're doing now. That's the purpose of these classes. Okay, that's it. That's my lecture. Here we go. So what do we see? Yaakov took a bunch of stones, put them under his head. He went to sleep, had this dream. He woke up and all of a sudden the stones became one stone, and he poured oil on it. And he said, if I go back home in peace, and it was back to Israel in peace, because he's leaving Israel, going to Haran, then I will, this stone that I just made, and I poured oil on it, will be a house for God. We have to understand, Shaychas Shel Eden, what is this stone with the name of God? That when Hashem, this name of God, which is called Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, the name of God, which that's the essential name of God, when he becomes an Elohim to me, he becomes Elohim, he becomes my power. then this stone will be a house for God. You want to make a house for God? Make a house for God. What does it mean that one stone is going to be the house of God? How can you make a, you have to go inside of a house. You can't have a stone being the house of God. What does it mean? And why is it dependent on this thing that if God will be for me for a Lord? What does that even mean? Okay. We have to understand. It says this stone, this is feminine. Feminine. This stone, feminine stone will be, this is masculine. Ulashon Zachar. Well, having calls on now to understand this. We have to proceed. What it says before it, that he reached this place. And he took from the stones and he put them under his head. And he made it. Then afterwards, he made it in this one stone, and he made the stone into a pillar. So a lot of stones in one stone, and sometimes it's masculine, sometimes it's feminine. What is the business with these stones? What are these stones? What is so important about stones, about Judaism with rocks and stones and boulders and whatever it is? What do you have to have stones for? Just God speaks to you and that's it. You have to, right? All the other religions are based that God spoke or an angel spoke or somebody spoke or a guy went into the desert and he had an inspiration, or 2 people had an inspiration, or 12 people had an inspiration, and they saw something, they saw a spirit, they saw this. Enough. No, Judaism says no, that's not enough. He sees he goes to sleep and he sees a dream, and he takes a stone and he puts the oil on the stone. And he says that if God will be with me, then the stone is going to be the house of God. What's the stone? What's going on? Especially what's going on? What does it mean to us? That's the point. And we're going to see that this is really the whole big point of what's going on now. To mention God, to bring God into everything. How does God fit into everything? Why is God doing what he's doing? Why did God? But nevertheless, we see that stones are very important to Judaism. Rocks, stones. It says, first of all, there were a bunch of stones. Harbe, like it says, and then Yaakov made from them one stone. Okay, so what's going on? Let's see. Achine, Bereisha Parsha, in the beginning of this week's Torah portion, we just finished reading it. It says, Vayetze Yaakov mi Beersheva, that Yaakov went out from Beersheba and he went to Haran. Perish, what does it mean, Yaakov? What is it, Yaakov going out from Beersheba and coming to, what is Yaakov? Yaakov is an aspect inside of us. Everything that's in the Torah is inside of us, but especially the 3 fathers of Judaism, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, this is written for Jews. This is written for Jews. It's accessible to everybody. There's certain parts of the Torah which non-Jews are not supposed to learn because it's not relevant to anything except for the Jews. Laws, different laws about what is kosher to eat, what's not kosher to eat, and all these different arguments about those are not relevant to the non-Jews. Right? Death penalty if you don't keep Shabbat, and what exactly mean if it's forbidden to write, it's forbidden to make a knot, it's forbidden to make a fire. Those things are relevant to Jews. All the laws of marriage, all the laws of divorce, that's not, but this is relevant to everybody. It's talking about God. So here we go. But it talks about the Jews. Okay, Yaakov is an aspect in our soul, which is what's called Yud Akev. Yud is the first letter of God's name. Akev means heel. Heel, like the heel on the foot. Yud Akev means the Yud, the highest aspect of God, comes down to the heel, to the lowest aspect of the feet. Hu bechin is Yud Akev. Shehu bechin is Hamshacha. This is showing, drawing down God. Shehu bechin is Yud, Lamata Mata below. Gam also bechin is Ikvayim, also into the heels. So like I'm saying right now, right? These people say land of Israel belongs to us, it belongs to us. Talk about God. Bring God into the picture. God is not just a spiritual, religious, mystical boogeyman or something hiding behind these veils, the Wizard of Oz. God is creating you. God is creating everyone. God is enlivening everything. God cares about everything. God is creating everything from nothing. But also God cares. God is not limited to being unlimited. God is intimately involved in everything in the world, and everything is important to God. And there's principles by which everything is governed. That's called ikvayim. That's called the world, the heels. And we have to bring the yud into the heels. And it should be in every aspect of our lives, how we eat, how we sleep, how we wake up in the morning. To be grateful that we're being created. Now, God's creating us every second for free, for nothing. Because that's what it means. Yaakov. That's what Yaakov did. He went out from Beersheba, Vayelech Harona. Yaakov went from a very beautiful, wonderful place where it was easy to do commandments, Beersheba, and he went to this terrible place, which was called Haran. Shebechin is Yaakov. That's this aspect in our soul, which is called Yud Ekev, the ability to bring godliness down into the most mundane things. This is a mamshich. This draws down from the level of Beersheba, which we'll talk about what this level is. Shehu l'mayla mayla, which is very, very high level of pure godliness, where it says there that Iu v'chayu v'gramu echad, the oneness of God before the world was created, which if it existed before the world was created, it means it exists now also. Because when God created the world, he created time. So this is, before God created the world, there was no time. So this aspect of God that's before, that's one with everything, pure oneness, revealed, this is above time. It exists now, it exists past, the future. That's this level of Yud. Ad until she ishtalshalas lamata, mata comes below, hayoter tachtona, to the lowest levels of the world, shu bechinas charon, which is charon, kasher yavor, like we're going to explain. And that's what we say, Save Yeshuot Yaakov. He commands the salvations of Jacob. This is in one of the prophets. I should have looked it up beforehand. Save Yeshuot Yaakov. He commanded the salvations to Yaakov. Let me look it up here. Where this was. Okay. Find the sentence. I can't even find the book. Oh, here it is. 1 minute. Don't give up. Don't give up. Here we go. Let me just find this. My curiosity has been aroused. I'm sorry, I should have done this before, like I said, but I'm doing it now. Here we go. You see me? Here we go. Here we go. Well, I was wrong. It's in Psalms, Tehillim. It's in Psalms. Psalm 44. I'm almost sure that's how the issue is. Okay. So Tzavi Yeshua is Yaakov. God commands the salvations of Jacob. Like it says in Yaakov. Well, Mamshech is Beersheba. Like it says, Tzavi Yeshua is Yaakov. What is Yeshuot? What does it mean, Yeshua? Yeshua means salvation. The word Yeshua comes with a shin ayin nahorni. It means 370 lights, the upper lights. And the level of Yaakov, he draws down from these high, tremendously high unification of God and draws them below into this level of ikvayim, into the physical world. Okay, so it goes like this. God creates the world, right? And he creates the world all the time. Why does God create the world? Why does he create the world? So this is not really clear at all why God has created the world, because what God is also not clear. How can God create things? What does that mean? He creates the world. What does it mean? So what is he? What is God? He says, oh, God, he's the creator. He doesn't exist like anything we can understand exists. His existence is not a discernible or a measurable or a what's it called? Comprehensible, such a word, existence. We don't even understand what an angel is. As an angel appears, that everybody that goes crazy, they go crazy. And angels are just low levels of creation, right? The whole world is going crazy. Are there such things as extraterrestrial creations, the beings, in Mars, who knows, whatever there? That's nothing compared to the angels. The angels are and nevertheless, all these things are just creations of God. Now that God is creating all the angels, that's pretty good. He just creates them for free. Same thing, we wake up in the morning for free. We don't pay anything, and here we are, we exist. It's pretty amazing. We should be really grateful, right? That God is creating everything. But God conceals himself, purposely conceals himself so that we're not grateful. And not only that, it's pretty hard to understand who we're grateful to, because God is not a creation, a person. We can't like send them a letter or something. He says, well, that's not exactly so. The fact is that everything that we do positively in this world for God makes a positive impression on God. What do we get out of it? It improves the world. And that's the whole purpose of Yaakov. Yaakov is, even when he's in the lowest places, namely this world, nevertheless, he was still thinking about and feeling and trying to understand what God is and what God wants from me. Why did he put me in this terrible situation? He obviously wants me to fix it up. That's why we're here, to fix up the world. But God, that's the idea of Yeshuas, of salvation. Salvation means the world is a very low place. Good is concealed. Godliness is concealed. Life is concealed. Meaning is concealed. Value is concealed. Love is concealed. Everything is concealed. That's the way God made the world. That's the name of the word. The word world in Hebrew is the same word as concealment. Olam, as olam means to conceal. And why does God do it this way? It seems like he's pretty cruel to do a thing like that to us, right? Which you'd be pretty justified to say a thing like that. But on the other hand, he's doing it to us. He's creating us. You want him to not create us? And that would be better. So the fact is that he put us in this world because this world, we have a thing which the angels don't have. In other words, we have responsibility. And our responsibility is to fix up the world. And Yaakov was the one who showed us how to do it, to bring from the Yud, the first letter, the highest level of God's name, into this physical world and show that it's God's creating the whole business and he's doing it for a purpose. And when we see that, then it becomes a better world. That's called salvation. Vayisha Hashem el Hevel. The word salvation also means to turn. Vayisha Hashem, that God turned to Hevel. Who was Hevel? Abel. Cain and Abel. This is Cain killed Abel, right? Why? Because God turned to Abel and he didn't turn to Shehu Bechinas, you read it, this is what's called descent, Hamshacha, and drawing down God's light here in this world, etc. But drawing down the light, kolkach so much, but sumsumim rabim, achebo, it comes below into level charon, nasa alma de pruda. So what are we saying over here? God creates the world, and the world is terrible. On the other hand, God is infinitely good, and there's nothing except for God. All there is God. Ein od milvado. There's nothing except for him. So it doesn't make any sense. If all there is God, so the world should be really good. So what's the answer? Right, it should be. And that's what we have to do. We have to make this world good. And that's what we can talk about God. That's how I started this class. Those people who missed the class. But just like take a simple example, very, very physical example here, right? In all of these arguments about the land of Israel, who does it belong to, from the sea to the river to the sea, and this belongs to us. The Jews don't have no point in it. So the Jews, for some reason, especially the Israeli government, they don't just stand up and say, and the Rebbe said this a lot of times, they should just stand up and say, God gave us the land, that's all. God is eternal, and God is enlivening you. And enough. How do they say in Yiddish? Laws up. Let go. Let go. Let the world be a good place. God is creating everybody. God wants to be revealed. That's all. God is enlivening everybody. God just wants to be revealed. How is God revealed? When the Jews get the land of Israel, then God is revealed. You can have your own places. We're not trying to take over anything else except for what God gave us. And when that happens, then everything's going to fall into place. Everyone in the world will be grateful to the Creator for creating them. And they'll wake up in the morning and they won't think, who can I kill today? Who can I conquer today? Who can I rape today? Who can I steal from today? Who can I this? What type of drug am I going to take today? What type of bad thoughts am I going to have? People are with depression and aggressions and all sorts of crazy things. People start thinking, hey, I'm being created. This is great. How can I repay my creator? How can I do good things? Right? And well, how do you repay? That's called the 7 Noahide commandments. Have a family, give charity, be honest, be truthful, be helpful, give thanks to the creator, don't steal, don't look, right? That's what it means bringing God into the world. It simply means revealing the truth, that there's a creator and he's creating everything, he's enlivening everything. But it's not so simple. In fact, it's very, very difficult. And that's the whole point of the Jewish people. That's what we're chosen for. We're the chosen people. We're chosen to tell the whole world how much God loves them, that he's creating them. But so that's God is really good. But when the light of God comes down so low, he created a world and he creates Haran, this terrible place where Lovan is there and it's a Nasa Alma the Pruda. It makes a world that seems to be separated totally from God. Like it says, Nar Yotze Eden, when God created the world, it says there's a river that came out of Eden. Eden is the level of Chachma. That's what's the highest aspect of godliness. Lashkot, and this river came out in order to water the garden. Garden, a lot of times, that's Bina. God's Bina. There's 10 sfirot of godliness, and the upper two are called Chachma and Bina. And godliness came down from Eden. A river came from Eden and watered the garden, and from there it came out and separated. Shtauslus Rambos, this is the river of creation. It came down, and there's also a physical river. There's also the river of the Nile River, and this is Euphrates. It comes down to many, many contractions, and it becomes separate totally. And Yaakov, Avinu, Alav Shalom, Yaakov, our father, he wanted to elevate the whole world above. That below there should also be this unity and surrender, and how do you want to call it, harmony, just like it is up in the upper worlds, where everything is one. So what is Yaakov? Yaakov is sort of like a doctor, right? A person comes to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you know, your lungs aren't working, and your heart isn't working, your liver isn't working, and your kidneys aren't working, and your stomach isn't working, your pancreas isn't working, and your brain isn't working, and nothing is working. So the person says, what am I supposed to do? So the doctor says, listen, I'll give you this treatments and everything will start working. Everything will start working. So it starts working, right? He gives them a treatment, whatever it is, and everything works. And the person goes back and says, I'm miserable. I feel bad. What did you do to me? You stole it from me. What did I steal? My heart. What did you do with my heart? What do you mean? So before I felt my heart, I had all these pains. Now I don't feel my heart. You must have taken it. What about my lungs? I used to feel all these pains in my lungs every time that I prayed. And now I don't feel my lungs anymore. I don't feel my stomach. You took them from me. You stole my stomach. You stole it. The doctor says, listen, my friend, when things are working properly, you don't feel them. You want to feel alive. You want to be healthy. Then you don't feel your limbs. They do their job. The same thing in this world. When people feel egotistical, it means that they're sick. When a person doesn't feel egotistical and he just wants to do what he's supposed to do, right? Look at any sports or team sports work. They don't think about themselves. They wave to their mother in the crowd. He does. Look at an orchestra. Everybody does what they're supposed to. That's what the whole world is supposed to be like. Everybody's supposed to be what they really are. Happy, productive, loving, charitable, caring people. Everybody giving their unique gift to the world, like the heart does its job and the lung does. Of course, the heart, people are not like lungs and hearts. People have consciences, consciousness and personalities and uniqueness. So all this is going to come out. It won't be wiped out. Just the bad things will be wiped out. That's what Yaakov wanted to do. So therefore, it says Yaakov took from the stones of the place. In other words, the separation, how everything is separate. Like a sick person, the heart is separate from the lungs, and the lungs are separate from the pancreas, and the pancreas is separate from the foot bone, connected to the neck bone, and everything is connected. Nothing is connected. And Yaakov took everything and he wanted to unite everything together. And that was Yaakov's job. He wanted to make a healthy, well-running world, oiled world. He put oil on top of Kihine, known as Shavanim, that stones are the letters. Stones are letters. Where'd you get that from? In the book called Sefer Yetzirah. There's a book called Sefer Yetzirah, the book of formation, which says God gave to Abraham, and it's the secret of creating things. Not really creating, forming things. And it says that with this, that Abaya, what is it, Rabbah, used in the Talmud. He created a human being. And the Maharal of Prague also created a human being. That was a lot later, 1,000 years later. Like it says in Sefer Yetzirah, is how did he use these? By using the letters of the Hebrew letters, and I guess you have to use them in a proper way. I don't know how to do this exactly. If I did know, we would have a lot more pupils in the class, a lot less interruptions also, because they couldn't speak. The golem couldn't speak. He could listen and take orders. Like it says in Sefer Yetzirah, it says that 2 stones are 2 letters. 2 stones, they build 2 houses. 3 stones build 6 houses. Sefer Yetzirah, it's a bit mystical over there, what it talks about. But what it means is talking about letters. If you have 2 letters, let's say Aleph Beit, then you can build 2 houses, 2 words. Av and Ba. 2 words, like a house. 2 letters. You have 3 letters, so you can build 6 houses, right? Let's say Aleph Beis Gimel, and then you have Aleph Gimel Beis. And then let's start the same thing with Beis. So you have Beis Aleph Gimel, Beis Gimel Aleph. And then you have Gimel first. So Gimel Aleph Beis, Gimel Beis Aleph. So you have 6 letters that you can make all together. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. 6, that's right. One second. How did that come out? Is that right? Aleph Beis Gimel. That's 1. And then Aleph, Gimel, Beis. That's 2. That's right. And then you take base, you put it. You can make 2 combinations from if you put base in the beginning, and then 2 combinations if you put Gimel in the beginning. So it comes out to be 6. So you can make 6 words from 3 letters. And the letters are called stones because they build houses, which the houses are words. And that's why this whole world is called Ir Elokeinu, the city of God. The whole world, because it's all built from the letters of God. Liot, because Ir Elokeinu. Liot ki kamo shemayavanim, just like from a lot of stones, there is one big house. That from a house, the door, you can dwell inside of it. Also, from letters, you can make a word. That those words you can put intellect, ideas, right? The word Av, Aleph Beis. Av means your father. Ba means come here. Avagam also kamosha avanim heim bechinas domim, just like stones are, they are inanimate. Shuhu medrega yoter tachtoni. They're the lowest level from the 4 levels of the 4 foundations, right? There's earth, air, fire, and water. Well, earth, air, fire, and water, they all move. And earth doesn't move at all. Earth is the lowest of the 4 levels. Of Dom, Semecha, and Medaber. Kamoke, and also the same thing, the letters regarding intellect, which is in them, they are like stones. Betachlis, she'enu me'erech hasechel klal, right? A person gives a beautiful speech, beautiful, fantastic, deep speech in English, and the crowd only speaks French. They don't understand a word. So they just hear words. They don't know what he's talking about. So you can't feel the ideas. Nimsa, so comes up moving. We call it all from everything we said. Shavanim, that stones are called letters. Kamokain, similar also says above. Hine Kasiv, it says, B'tavar Hashem, the word of God, the heavens are made. And like it says, Malchut Kolamin, the kingship of God is God's speech. What does it mean? Shechayos Kol Olamos, that the life of all the worlds, Shem Olamos Ad Ein Kates, that they are worlds without any end. Like it says, Ayesh Mispar Legadudav. Baruch Hashem, it's raining over here in Israel, which is just 1 second, a very beautiful thing, and it makes me very happy. And so I would like to just partake of this happiness 1 second. There it goes. 1 second. Excuse me, everyone. Rain, we need rain, beautiful rain. Blessed rain. Here, everybody, look. Rain.
Oh, your video went off.
Rain.
Your video was off.
There's hope. What?
Your video was off.
How did that happen? 1 second.
Plug.
What are you gonna do? Okay, what are you gonna do? I thought it would be nice.
I could hear it, but I could see a picture of you.
1 second. 1 minute. 1 minute. Somehow or other, it went off. Why did it go off? Okay. Okay. Sorry. I thought I would have a little show and tell over there. 1 second. What happened? Screen sharing. Oh, there it is. Oh, there I am.
Okay.
Let me try it. All right. Just 1 minute.
So it just went off. Oh yeah. Disconnected. There.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
He can't hear us either.
No, he hears us. He hears us.
I'm sure the recording is still working for YouTube.
I don't know. Now it's
Okay, now we hear you.
it was the thing. The plug wasn't working well. All right. All right. Let's see. Where did it cut off? Who knows?
But we can't see you now.
Can't see me? Wow. What's
Nope.
going on here? What is going on in the world, huh? Yes, you're right. Here it is. Oh.
Okay, now we see and hear you.
All right. Okay. So I don't know where we left off, but here is the world is being created by God's letters. The letters are compared to stones. This is going back to the stones that Yaakov put under his head and unified them to be one big stone. Stones have no life to them. The same thing is God's creative force compared to God has no life in it. You look at the world, you can't have any idea what God is or even if God is. And that's the way God wants it. He creates the world from his words. Therefore, it's impossible for the world, because God wanted the worlds to be very distant and low and concealed. So therefore, the worlds cannot receive any life from directly from God on his own, but only through letters, because all of the worlds are like stones in regarding God's infinite light. Like it says, Kodesh Hashem, that God is holy. So this is a thing which is really impossible for us to conceive of, that we are real. Here we are, we're here. God gave us the Torah, we're really real. But the fact of the matter is that our reality is so unreal that it's almost non-existence. It's like the difference between a stone and, let's say, a person. A greater difference. It's a greater difference between God and the world than it is between a stone and a human being. Take a stone, bring it to university, try to explain to it calculus or music, right? Try to teach it music theory or to play the piano. It doesn't. A stone doesn't understand anything. Maybe you can say, listen, it does understand, but it just doesn't have any means of expressing it. It doesn't have a mouth. That's ridiculous. Stones don't have any consciousness, but it's there. A stone cannot understand mathematics. Infinitely more so, we cannot understand God. We're on a totally different level of reality than God is, but God is creating us. And God is creating us in a way that he wants us to, yes, understand and lift ourselves up, to understand that that's what Yaakov did. That's the purpose of the Jewish people. Yaakov gave power to the Jewish people, that the Jewish people could elevate their awareness of reality, and especially the importance of this world, and make the world into a place that is sensitive to God. The world, it says the stones will cry out to God. As we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. And now we're going to do the Devar Malchut. Devar Malchut here, 1 second. And stop the share. Stop the recording.